Welcome everyone. Now that we know how Mobx works, let's check one of the sample practice example of Mobx implementation in this video. Oftentimes we might find in such situation where we end up passing too many blocks to a component. In this situation, we can either use the use context hook with Mobx or we can try using Mobx instead. So generally, Mobx handles store in two ways: class-based approach and functional approach. So in class-based approach, we have a class, and inside the class, we have a constructor. The constructor defining the make auto observable, which actually define the observable properties and actions here. And also the class-based approach syntaxes are ES6 class syntax, which are defined in JavaScript class. And here as an usage, we can define observable properties and action within the class definition. And we can initialize the store instance with a new keyword. And in functional based approach, we define a function that returns an observable store object. Here we create an instance of the store by calling the function and export the same. So now let's first understand the difference by implementing the same example and an approach where we access components without the props. In this example, we can see we have a small page where we can have a header and we have some options like user details, email, account, and there is a button. If we click on the button, it changes the values of those properties. So, and if we see the code, we can see it's very simple. We have a user detail component which is passing username, email ID, and account as props. And what this user detail component does is it takes three use state variables and updates them. So we can see here we have the details of the properties, user detail, email, and account. And we have the button here which triggers an event handler which is change user. This event handler change user function, it checks for the username. If it is matching, then it just changes to the other one, and else part again brings it back to the original user. So a pretty simple example with this use state hook. However, if you wish to continue, if you wish to manage this same without the props, like instead of passing all these details in this component through props, if you wish to accomplish this uh, without sending any prop, that is also possible with the Mobx Store. Let's see how we are dealing with that. So here, for the interest of time, we have already created a small same component that we were explaining earlier, and here we have already created three user state and three variables where we are getting all the details of user detail, email, account, and there's a button. On click of that button, it is changing all the values. Now we are going to use the class-based approach and the store Mobx store to get the same incorporated in this project. And here, instead of passing all this through props, we are going to pass the component only. So how are we going to do that? For that, first and foremost, we need to install the Mobx. So we can see if we search in Google like Mobx React install, and we will get all the list of Mobx documentation and npm list and everything. So we can just copy the Mobx installation steps, and hit enter. Yeah, so we have it installed now. We will start using it. So we will first create a store. So we create a new file called user store.js. Now inside this file, we will have a class user store, and we will define the properties which we will be using, like username, email ID, and the account. And then we'll put the constructor. So here in this case, as we are using Mobx, we'll be using make auto observable. So constructor is a place where we initialize the objects. So now when we're using a Mobx and class-based approach, we will use observable. The observable make auto observable, which will check this instance and will update the properties and the actions that to be mutated. So here we'll try make auto, and this referencing this instance, and we'll be giving all the properties. But before that, we will need to import pardon, import the Mobx. We'll ask this constructor to observe username. It will be observable. Similarly, we'll have this email ID and account as observable, and we'll set the actions. Pardon me, semicolon, and we'll have the actions. So here we have set username, that is set username, which is an action. We'll have set email ID is also an action, and also set count. So now the constructor is defined. Now we'll go ahead and set the functions. The set username will be an arrow function, which will take a parameter of username and it will update the store. Here we are taking the parameter as name, or we can just give as UNAM a shortcut form, and we can try. We can directly update this document. We'll update the same thing for email ID. We'll do the same for count. Okay, now all the setters are done. Now we'll do the getters. So getters are the one which will be returning those stores. How we'll do that? We will simply write the getter function. We can easily use the same approach here. We can just copy them, paste them, and here instead of set, we'll select three of them with pressing Control D, and we'll replace them with get. And here, and we can return them. So now we have the getter function. Now we have to create an instance. So how we do that? We create an instance outside this class. So we are going to create an instance of this class here. So we can have const user store equal to new operator. We'll be creating this class instance. And we're going to export it. And that's it. This is how we're going to create the store. Now, as the store is done, now we will be updating our JSX file as per our requirement. So as we can see, we earlier used three use state hooks. Now we are going to replace them. We can directly comment them out for the reference, and we can replace them with the by destructuring the stored objects. So here we have to import stores, and then we are going to destructure required objects. Const set email ID, set account, also the getters. Getter functions are similar to setter function. So we are just going to copy paste it here, and we're going to replace the set of all these remaining three with get. Okay, now inside this function, here instead of username, we are actually getting the username. What this username is, get username is actually returning the username. Sorry, we need to remove all these parameters from get function. Yeah, so now from the get username is actually returning the username. And so get, we can directly put the get name over here, the function call, and we can check this. If the get username is Sam, then we can set the uname Tony, email ID with Tony at ABC, and set account to this set account, store set account with CD. So all the setters, use state setters are replaced with the store setters. Similarly, we can update the else part, set uname, set email ID, and set account. And now here in the username portion, we can directly call the getter function, and that's it. Better troubleshoot, we can have a console log here to check the store values. before they get into this condition, which we can remove once these things start working. Now, this are the changes, modification we did, but we have not done the main part of the Mobx, which is the observer. So this entire component is being observed for any changes. So here, this will be an arrow function. Sorry. And this entire arrow function will be observe Mobx React. So we can wrap it around inside the observer. And instead of function, we can directly, as it is an arrow function, we can put const like this, and we can export it. That's it. So let's test it. Now we are going to run the application and check how it is working. So we're going to do npm start. See the starting the development server, and here it came. We can see the page has rendered and it is showing blank user detail, email, and account. And if we click on this, it will update with the names. And again, if I click on it, it will change the name, email ID, and account. So is what is happening over here is it is initially checking the store, and here you can see the store values are updated with null. It is not having any username, email ID, and account. That's why on the initial render, it is not showing any data. But as soon as we click on the button, it is checking if the gate name is Sam. If it is not Sam, it is going to the else statement and it is updating the gate store with the Sam and Sam at ABC and its account name. And once that is updated, again, it is updating the store from the setters. And we are again fetching it with the getter method. And again, when we are clicking on this button, it is rechecking it. And based on the value, it is deciding what to set the store with. So here we have removed all the useState hook, and we have clearly, without passing any prop, we have updated these store values. So how we can now check the store if it is working or not? We can directly remove the store values, this prop values, by updating and all the files. And here we go. Initially, there is no values are there. And when we click on change user, it's updating the names. So with this way, we can render a component without passing any props just by using Mobx Store. And this is a class-based approach. In the next video, we will check the functional-based approach. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video.